Merry Christmas, gamers! You got time, I got time. We got nothing to do today but listen to our kids scream and run around with their new toys and making a mess everywhere. So I thought today, special day, I would break down and rank all the new games I added to my collection this year. I'm not doing a top ranking of my games this year. I alternate between vintage games and my regular games. Of course, this year was vintage games. Next year, I'll rank all these again. But I did get a lot of new games in, and I wanted to rank those real quick. Now, this is all of them that I've gotten in as of this now. I didn't add expansions in here. There's probably a few expansions I got that I didn't put in here. And there's one other game that never made it in time from Kickstarter. Go figure, right? No game arrives on time anymore. But anyway, I got a lot of new games this year. I only kept 16 of them. Only 6, the rest of them were cut. And so, as best I'm going to be able to do, I'm going to rank those games for you now. My number 16 is a game called Chai. Now, I mispronounced it in the my review. I kept calling it Chi. I have no idea why. Because I talk about chai tea all the time. And I play games with chai tea in it. So anyway, either way though, Chai is a fun, light tea game where you're collecting the tiles. I like the market that you're taking one from, sliding them down, and see what matches orthogonally to buy more. You do want to stock up. You can't resist a good deal, but money is victory points. And if you buy too much of ingredients you will never use, you could lose the game. I would say this is very entry level, and it's a game I can't recommend. I like the game. I'm keeping it. It's in my collection, but I can't recommend it because, A, I did hear they did a bunch of people dirty on a Kickstarter, these creators did, and then B, it's just way too expensive. It's just way too expensive. I got this in a trade, which is the only reason it's in my collection. Anyway, number 15, I just did a review on it, All Pujaris. I played this a couple of times since my review, and I think twice, since my review. And it's fun. We mixed it up differently. My gaming group really enjoys this. It's very colorful. There is strategy going on when you get things and, you know, what you do. And since we flipped up the tiles, there's different actions and different moments. There's different, sometimes market comes before harvest. Harvest comes before markets. I try to mix them up to where it'll be a little bit more even. But at the same time, I do want that variety in all of our games. So, you know, the tiles don't always fall where you kind of want them to, but that's okay. I've seen different strategies for different things here. It's a fun game. It is kind of new, but it is in my collection, number 15. Number 14 is Vikings. This is one of the first games I got this year, brand new to my list. I didn't get on my list last year. Vikings, I just recently played this again not too long ago, this past weekend as of this video. And it's fun, man, where it's kind of like a Dutch auction as you're buying Vikings and the tile above them and trying to place them on your board and place the Viking there too to score points. Now, this game is out of print. It also costs way too much to buy online, so I can't recommend it. Again, I got it in a trade, which is the only reason it's in my collection, but it is a fun game, and I rank it here at number 14. At number 13 is a game I played way too much to be at number 13, but I think I know why it's so low. Merchants of the Dark Road. Here it is, right here. Really fun game. It's pick up and deliver, but a rondel actions as you're doing. I love the rondel. I like pick up and deliver. The look of this game is really nice too. Everyone in my gaming group has who's played it has loved it. We have played this several times, perhaps more than a lot of other games on this list. A lot of other games on there. There may be one other game that's been played more. So why is it ranked so low? I don't know. I am a little bummed right now because Elf Creek Games, if you don't know, they're practically out of business at this point. Everyone has left the company except for the president. He says he's sick and that's why he's not talking to anyone. You can at least type a message telling you you're sick. I don't know. Anyway, they've been in trouble for a while. I remember the kind of smoke screen they were talking about during Honey Buzz, the fall flavors thing, and people got all upset about that. And that Kickstarter hasn't fully reached everyone yet, as far as I know. It may have by this video, but they had a lot of trouble with that, and that was the beginning of the end. We should have all known the company was going under. In fact, for me even mentioning it, I got yelled at by one of Elk Creek Games employees, someone who's not an employee with them anymore, and now is singing a different tune. And I like how he has portrayed this hero, a man of the people. Yet at the same time, this man of the people lied to our faces about the company being fine. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just saying. Now, the expansion didn't come out. I'm bummed. Everyone's bummed. I wanted this one in the deluxe edition of Santa's Workshop, which is another game I love. And, you know, just a little bit sour taste of Elf Creek Games probably pushed this down a little bit. I do love the game. I have not played this game in forever, though. Probably out of all these, it's been, I don't know, I think I've gone the longest without playing this, but I did play it a lot over the summer, and it's fun. Was the expansion going to be all that? I don't know. It seemed like it was going to make it different. It seemed like it was going to be fun. I don't think it would have. I think maybe Elf Creek Games not going under and us being deceived for as long as we were. You know, I think if that wasn't in it, this game would probably be ranked a little bit higher. But I can't help how I feel. I ranked this game number 13, even though I do love the game. I mean, anything that stayed in my collection, there's tons of games, new games I got that did not stay in my collection. So if you stay in my collection, that's a good thing. Number 12 is In the Hall of the Mountain King. Man, oh man, this is another one it's high on the list for me to get back to the table. I really want to play this. I really want to play Merchants too. So both these games would be probably top of my list right now. Yeah. These are probably the top 2 games on my list right now that I want to play because I haven't played them in so long. But in the Hall of the Mountain King, you're drafting cards and then doing like some kind of pyramid thing where you're stacking them on top of other trolls and you're activating everyone's ability, what kind of resources they give you. And you're using those resources to get more points in the game. Man, my nephews really figured this out and found out how to score really huge in the game and kind of busted the game wide open for everyone, which made the game way more interesting. Unlike some of the other ones I mentioned on this list, this one you can get for super cheap. Even a deluxe edition you can get for like 40, 45 bucks. I've seen it as low as, and I think it's definitely worth it. This game is so much fun. There's another one called something Mountain King, Fall of the Mountain King or something. That one does not look good. I'm not interested in that one. But In the Hall of the Mountain King, so much fun. I like the Tetris pieces. Peaches. What was that about? Anyway, I like that there are 3 magic cards where you can put your little gems on there and take the actions up to X amount of times before they disappear. Some don't come into your gameplay right now, but then after a few turns, everyone wants to use this one special ability until it's gone. Sometimes you use the special ability, it won't benefit you that much, but you can't let the other player have that special ability. I've even seen people block other players from getting that ability anymore, just using it on their turn, which I thought was ingenious. So there's a lot of gameplay about this one. I really enjoy it, and that's why it's number 12. Number 10, just outside the top 10 here, is Distilled. Nothing wrong with Distilled. I think it's still new in my collection. I played this a couple of times. Really love it. I am going to back Cocktails, probably, maybe on GamesFound when they do it. I'm not much for crowdfunding anymore. In fact, I think I only got one project now available on there. But I do enjoy Distilled. I really think it's a really smart game where you do, like the first round, you're making like 2 or 3 points. I was like, oh, this could be a low-scoring game. And then suddenly, I've already made it around the board on the last round because you just start building up all these points after a while. And I really like that. It's kind of like one of those engines of Ultimate Railroads where the first round no one's scoring any points, and by the time the last round comes you're just zipping around the board a couple of times. It's great. It's a great feeling like that. Distilled gives you that feeling, and the gameplay and the artwork, everything about this game is very, very solid, so I really do enjoy it. Number 10 is a game should have had in my collection a long time ago was Concordia. Concordia is great. I have played this with several other boards. I remember my original review I said you probably don't need every different map, you know, all the different maps. And now I'm going to walk those comments back. I'm going to say you do. I played with all of them, but I think like 2 maps. And playing with different maps does change up the strategy way more than just switching around the tiles, right? On where the little spots are, on where the resources are. Having different areas that you're not familiar with, that you have to move around your travel. I like taking the cards. It is kind of a deck builder as you're drafting cards and playing them. And getting more powerful cards in your hand. A lot of gameplay in this one, and I believe I haven't even scratched the surface of Concordia. It is. Every time I play it, I appreciate it more. So, great game. Number 9 is one of the earlier games I did add to this list, and it's super impressive. It's Cape May. Cape May is such a cheap game to get. It's got great pieces. It's a beautiful game. I got the little mini expansion Vocations. We'll never play without it. It's just like a one-time ability you can get in the game that can really help you if you play it right. but you're establishing businesses and shops all around town. The board kind of forces you to move across to the west of the city, because if they didn't do that, like with one-way streets and with hazards like fires happening on the east side, you definitely want to migrate to the west side, and there are some advantages to that as well. And if the board game wasn't designed to do that, then it would kind of be broken. I bet during gameplay, test plays, they found that out, that no one would want to leave the east side because you're right there. Why waste time moving when you can be taking those actions to build up an empire there? So all the one-way streets, all the events, all the bad events happen on the east side. So if you can move west and start building out there, you're going to be great. Like I said, you're building this little town, and I still haven't found the solid strategy that always wins. I play it differently every time, and according to other players, how they're playing their game. A lot of people like to set up beaches and shops by the beach because that's the biggest points. Yeah, but you forget about those in-game points. And my nephew, super smart of him, spread out and played for the end game, and he came back and just killed us all. We were all ahead of him, but then he gained all the end game points. So bravo to him. Cape May, super cheap game and a lot of fun. Definitely an underrated game. Number 8 is a newer one I got to my list, Isle of Skye. Shame on me for not getting it for so long. I wasn't into tile placement games, and now I am. I'm playing Alhamra a lot. I've played through all of the expansions in the Designer's Edition box at least once, some of them twice. Of course, we're still playing Carcassonne like it's going out of style, man. We are zipping through more Carcassonne. I played tons more since I've done my review, and I was like, what other tile games are out there? Isle of Skye is a really smart one, where you have these 3 tiles, you're axing one, and then you're putting up for sale the other 2. That, if no one buys them at your price, you must buy them at that price. There's a lot of money management going on, as you also have to not use all your money to show the price of it, but keep some money for yourself to buy someone else's tile. And I will always play with the expansion. I only play without it once. I will never do that again. You must play with the expansion. That gives you the ability to buy or get other additional tiles, which you won't. I am the worst at putting out tiles in order. I like how the scoring can be different every game, because there's so many different ways to score, so many different tiles you put up there and score them in different orders throughout the rounds. It is such a fun, it's easy to teach. And for this guy who doesn't know how to set his tiles up to get maximum effort, it can be hard, but man, the strategy of what tile you axe or how much you ask for a tile, like I really know so-and-so is going to want this tile because I see what they're going for on their player board. However, if they don't buy it at this price, I'm stuck with it, and I don't need that tile because I'm not scoring that way. So there's or keeping too much money in your hands so you can buy other tiles. You don't know what those other tiles will be. Maybe I've been through rounds where I'm like, well, I really don't need any of these tiles, but I may as well buy one. If I don't, they may buy mine. So setting the perfect price for your tiles while retaining coin to buy other tiles at a deal, and deciding which one to axe. I mean, there's so many decisions here in such a easy, simple game. So much strategy in it that definitely I underestimated this one. Isle of Skye is excellent. It is number 8. Number 7 is a game I've also had for quite some time. It is Coffee Rush. True story, after my review, I didn't play it for a while, and I thought about getting rid of it. I was like, did I like that game? I thought it was all right. Let me play it again. And man, we started playing it again, and I've loved it. It's definitely a keeper. It's so cheap to get. The pieces are really good. I thought whoever went first always won, because I was always winning and I was always going first. So on purpose, I went last, and I still won. So it's not that first player is some great advantage. Actually, I would kind of argue that last player is the best one to be, because you have the least amount of starting orders, and you kind of already know where everyone's moved. So, I mean, I don't know. I think there's an advantage for going last there. Either way, I did end up winning again going last. So, I don't think I've lost this game yet, even though there have been some strategies I regret taking, because I've learned from other people that there's some upgrades you can get. And 3 out of the 4 of them I think are really good. One of them I think is still garbage. I don't see the point of it. But the other 3 are really good, and I can't. Someone says, which one's the better upgrade to get? I don't know. There's 3 really excellent upgrades. One that gives you double the ingredients if you land on someone. That could be very helpful, especially if there's a lot of players in the game. You can go and get doubles of everything just about. Or they give you doubles of the special ingredients. There's only 1 square on that big board of a special ingredient, and that's where all the big scoring drinks are on. So if you got the double score, the double income on those, that would allow you to build the harder drinks that are worth more points and give you bonuses. So there's a strategy with that. I always like the diagonal move because you're not really blocked out of anything. But again, I'm stuck letting those special orders just drift away because I really can't get to some of those special tiles all the time. So I don't know. I think there's a good combination between those three special powers that are really helpful. The fourth one is like get double the ingredients on the corners. But the corners are just basic goods that you can get anywhere on the board. So why would that be? I think they just wanted one more power and couldn't think of anything. I honestly do, because I don't see the strategy in that. Either way, though, it's an excellent game. Coffee Rush, really love it. Number 7. Number 6, I just recently got, and I've been playing a lot of it, is the Thunder Road. Thunder Road is, ever since my review, I play through all the tracks now. Just about all the expansions. There's a few little expansions I don't think I played with, but I do plan on playing with those over this holiday season. This game has not gotten boring to me. This is fantastic. This is, in my opinion, Restoration's game's best game they have out there. I mean, I'm a big Fireball Island fan. I'm a huge Fireball Island fan, but Thunder Road beats it. This new Thunder Road is so great, so much fun. I've seen people who I swore were going to win, lose at the last minute. And it's happened more than once. I saw one lady just burn out at the very end. Her car was on fire, and the fire dice rolled. She was right there she had the lowest roll. She could have crossed the finish line and was going to win, but then they rolled the fire die, and it blew up her car, and she lost. And she was totally out of the game. I was like, wow. Another one had no choice but she hit a hazard, which was an oil slick, which ran her into me, which then when she ran the collision die, rammed her into an immovable object and obliterated her from the game. She was about to win. Again, one square away from winning. I had to risk it, and I ended up winning one. I haven't won many of these games, but the one I won, I had to risk sliding across a few other hazard tiles just to see if I could get through. It was my clearest path, I thought, and I risked it all in one. And if I'd have zigged when I should have zagged or whatever, or zagged when I zigged, I would have lost the game because we flipped over the other tiles to see what they were, and I would have lost. So, I mean, this is just so much fun. I see what everyone's talking about. Like, they don't even care if they win. They just want to cause a lot of chaos. And I do too. We played it so safe and straight. Like the first 2/3 of the game we were playing, the first game we ever played. And then I started taking off like a bat out of jail. And then everyone started doing it. Everyone's had a lot of fun playing it ever since, like crashing, ramping, taking big risks that we would never take in a regular game. But it's just so much fun to play this game. Thunder Road, I expect it to be very high on my list next year. Number 5 is Foundations of Rome. Whereas it's backwards, it's up here. I took it out recently to put. The publisher gave us something like stickers or something. I don't know. I need to read the update, I guess, on the Kickstarter. But I got something in the mail recently, and I haven't even looked at it. Looks like it's a new menu or new items or some kind of they're correcting something. But either way, I never saw anything wrong with the game, and I haven't been keeping up the comments. This game is fantastic. This game basically wiped Big City off the list for me, city building and whatnot, because this Foundations of Rome game, and so pretty. Here it is. Yeah, I haven't even put it in there yet because I need to open up everything. I didn't want to do that. But this game is so pretty. Is it overproduced? No. I think it's just, I heard the designer go, no, it's the exact game I wanted to make. I wanted to have a lot of table presence. If you want what's called Foundation of Metropolis, I think is out with a cheaper version of this. Either way, it's a fun game. Do the pieces make it more fun? Absolutely. 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 You are wowed by the beauty of this game. But at the same time, I argue, there is so much strategy in this game. And it is so much fun to play because you're always constantly building, changing your buildings, rebuilding, trading land, taking land from other people, building different centers, trying to get as many points as you can. But it has a rubber band effect where you don't want to pull too far ahead because second place gets the exact same population points as first place. I may not be able to explain that all to you, but the thing is that on purpose it keeps it close from there being any runaway, leader. And that is good. That doesn't hamstring the game. That doesn't mean the game is broken. That was a quick fix. I like the idea of that. I like the idea that the further you pull ahead, you're pulling someone else with you, though. You got to remember that. And there's a smart way to play the game. At the very end, you play for the end game. You build up for the end game. Man, this is a super fun one. Every time it comes out, everyone gets excited at my table, and of course, that tells you it's a great game. Another one that I love even more, number 4, obviously, is Mosaic. I would say get the Colossus edition, even though that costs a very pretty penny. I think it's well worth it. Mosaic, you have one action to build a civilization. You know, through different ways, grab resources. Every time you feel like, even though you got one simple action, and actions go really quick, even though you have like 8 things you can do on your action, you kind of know what you want to do. I like it because the turns move fast. There's area control. That's how you're going to get a lot of your points there. Of course, in-game points, you can get points at the end. You really don't know who's going to win until the end. But this game is so much fun because, like I said, that one simple action, everyone feels like they never wasted an action. They always did something. And with the expansion, Warfare is heavily played. Is played more heavily than in the base game. And I like what the ships do in it, that the ships bring to it. So I will not play without the expansion now. I think that's great. Again, I know I'm saying here, Colossus Edition, very expensive, but I love it. I love the pieces. I love the look of it. This is an epic game. You can get the regular base game, I suppose, and still have fun. But me and my nephew, one of my nephews, I know for a fact, this is probably in his top 5 games of all time, probably. For me, probably not top 5, but definitely a top 100. I'd say definitely top 100. Number 3, again, shame on me, Yokohama. Man, I should have got Yokohama a long time ago, but back then I would look at the design of a board game and go, oh, that looks ugly, or that looks boring, I shouldn't get it. And then last year I decided, you know what? Let's not judge a board game by its cover. Let's look at other things. So I gave another look at Yokohama, got a copy of it, and boy, am I glad I did. This game is uber fun. Uber fun. And I've played it several times since my review, and I enjoy it even more. As you're placing your assistants out through the land, moving your boss through them, and taking actions. And the more players, the crazier it gets because places get blocked. And there's a billion ways to get points in this game. A billion ways, and I love that too. My nephew, for instance, there's a tricky little thing that they have that it teases you with a lot of big points. Like, oh, wow, 22 points. That's the biggest thing you can score in this game. I'm going for that. Yes, but you're playing for the long game. Meanwhile, I have been using that particular resource to get bonuses throughout the entire game, and I actually beat them in points. I actually showed them that, but I love red herrings like that in the game, where it's like, hey, if you want to do this, the thing is you got to do everything in moderation, you know. If you make it obvious you're just trying to get this, you're wasting opportunity. You're taking actions to get these crates, and you're kind of wasting these big actions and not going towards a certain goal. For me, though, I don't waste a single action. I make sure I can utilize everything. I like to build things up, build my resources up, and then start clearing out contracts left and right and start roaring through past everyone. People get a 20, 30-point lead on me every game we play, and then suddenly I start rearing back, and I'm scoring 10, 20, 10, 20, and I've already caught up, and then I leave them in the dust by the time it's over because they've been hoarding their goods trying to get some big prize at the end, which, again, I mean, it's part of the game, right? And I don't even know if that's the whole purpose of having this big scoring. There's this big score on the board here that you can get. You got to play basically in-game strategy to get it. But I wonder if that's just like a red herring. Like, hey, everyone, look at this. If you get it, yeah, you get a lot of big points. You're not going to win if you've been wasting moves just to get this big action, though. You cannot waste a single move that you make in this game. And that's what the game teaches to me. Again, it looks really busy. It looks like a very busy board, but I'll be honest, it is so simple, so easy to teach, so much fun, which is why it is number 3 on the list. Number 2 on the list is Maracaibo. I know they came out with Pirates of Maracaibo. I haven't played it. I'm still getting used to this game that's been out forever, and I like this one better than Boone Lake. Same designer, but I think this game is a lot better. I like having a card that has like 3 different uses on it. That's really cool. I've always enjoyed that. I like how people have tried different strategies in this game. One person tried to end the game quick by sailing the maximum amount around the ships because if you're the first one to finish, you get a handful of points. And he thought, maybe I'll end the game super quick before anyone can build up a strategy. No, you can't. I wondered the same thing. I'm so glad he did it and failed miserably. because it was always something in the back of my head goes, is that how to break this game? Nope. The game, you'll score some points. You'll have an early lead, but pretty short toward the last, like second to the last round, everyone starts passing. You start running. That little strategy runs out of steam as everyone starts building up on their strategies. Even though they didn't get many turns, they have enough to start building some victory points at the end, and you're kind of screwed. I got metal coins for this game. I love it so much. Authentic, replica coins, and it's totally worth it. Maracaibo, great game. Can't wait to play it again soon. But folks, the number one game, I gotta be honest, hats off to Steffenfeld and Queen Games. Marrakesh, I played this more than anything. I still enjoy the game. I won for the very first time the last time we played it. I finally won. What gets me is those dadgum in-game points. I never look at them. I just try to look at the bonuses that I get when I place them on my player board. I never look at how to score them. I always forget about them. And that's what bites me in the butt at the end, because then I'm losing by just a few points. Every game we played, I've been down by just a handful of points, and that's because I did not look at my in-game points and not play toward that strategy. This time, I did a little bit, not as much. The good news is, no one looked at their in-game points. It was the same people who've been playing, but they didn't put as many in-game tiles there. And the ones they did, they didn't score that well. So I ended up keeping the lead, finally, for the first time ever. I've always had the lead in this game, and then at the end, when everyone's counting up their in-game points, they always pass me up. I've never been able to fully fill out a section yet, and I have seen every other player in this game do it. At least one section has been filled out. I don't think if anyone's had two. I'm not saying it's impossible, especially with the expansion. It could be a little bit harder to do, but I've been trying and I can't. By the way, the expansions will always play with nomads, all of them. The only one that we're not using that much is probably the camel track. And I've seen people throw some barrels there, but some of the ones that are the more useless ones. And that's not really helping. I think when someone starts to really use that camel track and show us a path to victory by using the camel track, that's when it'll open up that section of the game. I'm still happy to keep the camels in it, but like I said, they're rarely, if ever, used in any of our games. Other than that, though, I can't wait to play it again. I know some Queen Games Kickstarter is now coming out with like a mini expansion to Marrakesh, like a Queenie. I will buy that on the secondhand market. I don't care. I love this game. I think it's fantastic. It is my number one game of 2024. Hey, folks, what were the best games you got to play in 2024, old or new? Let me know in the comments, and Merry Christmas.